How was that story of getting your first client? That's always super interesting to us.
That was for me when I posted, and I didn't even know. I didn't know what fractional was, and I didn't know that I wanted to do fractional. In my mind, I wanted, and I still might, by the way, I always keep all the possibilities open, but I wanted to go back into corporate. I posted on LinkedIn a really, nice message, like a lot of people that have lost their jobs have done, but it's part of my job. I'm good in communication and putting the storytelling. So I told them, I must have told a really nice story in that message post on LinkedIn when I said that I was available and those were the services that I could offer. Literally the next day, I was picked up by one of the main competitors of that agency that I was working for. Again, a London headquartered agency with global presence. And they wanted me to start on Monday. That was on a Saturday night, they messaged me. I negotiated the hell out of them, of course, because I could sense the desperation. And I love working with them now. They're still one of my clients. So that's how they saw the commercial director saw my LinkedIn post and told me, our clients want a lot of ABM, but we just don't have the capability in-house. So they gave me the biggest clients in the whole of APAC, and they also got me on board to upskill their team, and I did a lot of training. That's how it happens. So through my network, I guess the short answer is through my network. Yeah.
No, I think the story form is way more informative. And then just going deeper on your niche, because I don't think many of us are maybe super familiar with ABM. What's a simple way to explain it to someone who's unfamiliar with the term?
Yeah, it is a highly sophisticated and tailored marketing strategy. It's not another campaign. It's not something you plug and play like a demand generation piece and you forget. It is a whole, I would define it, a change management piece that involves the whole organization, whatever the size. It comes normally from enterprises because they have the budget and resources to afford such a program, but it could also be for scale-ups, anywhere where you have a set of accounts, clients, or prospects that you want to squeeze more revenue out from, and they are your highly valued accounts. So you build a whole marketing strategy, value proposition, comms plan, all these beautiful things that we all know about in marketing, and creative assets just to target either one account, existing or new logo, or a few accounts, literally 2 to 7. So it's a one-to-one account-based marketing and one-to-few account-based marketing. So yeah, that's in a nutshell. That's what it is.
Amazing. And how do you see it, working particularly well for a fractional, manner? Because not every function can be externalized. How do you see this niche kind of working well as an external? I guess like that would be my question.
I am fortunate enough, I guess, that to be in a region of the world where account-based marketing is not as mature. It's been around for 23 years, by the way. I did not make it up. I keep saying when I have conversations with people, I'm not reinventing the wheel. Like if you have a look at my website or the content I share on LinkedIn, this is not, it doesn't have Paola's stamp on it. It's not something I'm coming up with from scratch. Obviously, there is my experience and there's always my angle, but account-based marketing has been around in the UK and the US for many years. In Australia, as always, for whatever reason, Australia is always late to the party in those things. Perhaps the location, the time zone, and again, the market being so small. So because my clients themselves, they're at the CMO level, and you would expect them to know account-based marketing, and that's not the case. So it works really well because they know, some of them have heard of it, some of them, they think they know it, some of them, they don't know what it is, but they're all very curious because they've seen it working really well for other brands. And there are plenty of case studies online, or that I can share with you another time. So they want a piece of it, but they don't have the capability and the time to do it. They just don't have the resources. So they have to, they have to go outside and outsource it to someone. And there are few ABM agencies in Australia that do it really well. So yeah, this is how it works really well for me. I fit in within that strategy, and I work at a really strategic level. When we get to the implementation phase, I outsource that, or I just help them from as an outsider, but I don't get my hands dirty. I've done that too many times. And also that's my value is more broad, at the very strategic ideation level rather than the tactics. Did I answer your question?
Amazing. You did. That's perfect. And I guess what's one mistake you're seeing businesses lately make in marketing? I think it's a very generic question, but you're working directly with CMOs. So what's that one thing that you're seeing more consistently?
Obviously, when I work mainly with APAC clients, I start to have clients in the Middle East and the US. So my answers take them with, the filter of APAC, which might have some similarities with the region you work within, but not exactly the same challenges. I don't know enough. There is a lot of pressure for CMOs to deliver. There are people being made, teams of marketing teams being made redundant weekly here in APAC, especially in the software as a service tech space. So there is that pressure. And they have the pressure that they feel on top of them, where they know they need to deliver really quickly and start bringing results. And in that situation, they tend to jump to the tactics. So they are not giving enough importance to the strategy. They're not giving themselves because they don't feel like they have the time to stop, pause, understand with the sales and marketing team, what are our strategic goals? What is our why? They're not asking themselves the very important questions. And it's not their fault. It's where, the pressure from the C-suite is coming, from the founders or from the CEOs. So I think they're wasting money by jumping into the tactics straight away. They're still using the marketing, but they're doing something with the marketing budget, but they're wasting money because they're not channeling the efforts into the right channels and the right situations. Do you find the same? I'm going to ask. I know it's not my place to ask questions, but I'm curious. Maybe we can ask the room later if you find the same in your region.
For sure. We can do so after. I'm seeing a trend towards CMOs being more asked to do CRO jobs, so more around like selling, and that ends up leaving CMOs a little bit like just lead generation. And that's obviously a big change that I'm seeing. But again, we might have some folks here who are specialized in marketing who can give their takes later. Paola, so just transition a little bit to your evolution, in your fractional career. You've been doing this for 2 years, right? And that's already a big accomplishment. I can say all of us have been doing this for 2 years. I guess what's one mistake you've made early that maybe you'd suggest others here to avoid?
It is not having a strong narrative. Also, it comes with time. It's okay, but practicing your narrative about your value proposition, even how the way you want to sound when you speak to prospects, as much as possible. In front of the mirror, it sounds funny. With people, when you go for a drink, even if they're not your potential clients, so that your partner at home, friends, so that you can be, when it really counts, when you really are in front of decision makers that are going to, give you a piece of work or not, you sound really convincing and you're really confident. And with that narrative piece, also, it comes with, I guess, the courage and the confidence to say no to clients that are not right for you. And you know it. I think we all know what, the ones that we shouldn't be wasting our time on. But very early on, I also think that mistake of me, in my case, picking up to one client, it's fine, I didn't do too bad, but I picked up one client that I knew it wasn't as strategic. I knew it wasn't going to be the most exciting one. I did see a couple of orange flags, but it also, you have to start, that wasn't the one who reached out on LinkedIn, by the way, that was amazing. But after that, you still need to start from somewhere. So if I go back now, I wouldn't pick up a client that I knew wouldn't be right for me, but my bank account was happy. So it is a fine line and a balance that you guys need to find and for yourself. And then when you feel stronger, when you build more of a client base after 1.5 to 2 years, it doesn't happen overnight. Then I find myself saying no, well, not too often, but a couple of clients I said no to. And there was a very nice feeling, but I knew I had a lot of other work coming through. So that was also easier.
I think that's a perfect segue to just identifying red flags, right? So maybe can you illustrate a couple red flags that you're noticing maybe these days that you didn't notice before?
Oh, look, I always knew. I come from, before that, I was in agency for long enough and I knew it. It's just that I chose to ignore them because I wanted to be paid. So, and it's nothing wrong with that. The red flags are when you can just tell they don't understand what you do. I do also appreciate that the type of marketing I do is quite sophisticated. Hence, I want to work with sophisticated people, but they're hard to find. So when the type of strategy I work on is not as straightforward. And I'm okay with educating my prospects or clients and taking them through the journey. But when you can just tell that even if you take them through the journey, they're just not getting it. And that's in the long term, it might be okay for a few months, but then in the long run, if they don't appreciate, if they don't understand the value you bring in, it's just going to fall apart. It's not fun for anyone. So that's why not understanding fully what your proposition is. And also when they mention already too many times budget at the very beginning, like, oh, we don't have a lot of budget. Like, I now run away from them straight away. What I do, I share with them in the first appointment, the first meeting, I share with them my daily rate. So at least they know what the starting point is. And if they want to run away, they're very welcome to do so, but at least they know very upfront and we don't waste any time. So yeah, the not understanding my strategic approach, that's one red flag. And the other one is when they mention too much how there is a board making decisions on the budget. They're not really the budget owner. There might be the decision makers, but without the budget, they're not the budget owners at much use.
And just to double click on that, is there a situation or maybe position it differently? How do you set expectations with people who maybe don't understand what's going to be the reality with you being a fractional executive and not actually like a full-time executive? So how do you manage expectations, especially with clients who might not even understand that you're somebody external?
Oh, I never had that problem. It's I think there is enough. It could be more, but there is enough advocacy again in ANZ, or even the other regions I work with, UK definitely, and US so advanced. But there is enough advocacy outside of me telling them, explaining them what fractional is with the work you guys are doing. Top people like yourself who post about fractional that is happening out there. So even people who don't know exactly how it works, they've seen it working elsewhere. So I never have that barrier. I never encountered that, and it comes with time. The ones that were a little bit skeptical at the beginning, and they still don't know, they were confused between fractional and consultant. I'm not too picky. I don't really mind too much. They will understand by the end of the program together. They will understand that I was more embedded into the team, that I act like into the internal CMO. But if at the beginning they want to call me consultant, so they're perceiving me like that, I don't mind. I don't go with labels too much. Time will help for them to understand. So it's again an education piece, taking them on a journey by doing the work. They at some point they come to me like, aha, I have that moment when I understand. And also I do share with them the ones that are not sure, they want to know more about the fractional, even if they don't want to, they're not going to end up hiring me for that piece of work. But I share with them a lot of content articles from your community, Zach's community, that's another, the fractional exec, other articles that are floating around on that I trust, they're floating around on LinkedIn, so that they hear it from other voices. It's not just Paola telling them. Yeah.
Thanks for that. That's amazing. Thank you, Paola. And then one of the things I was curious about was what was the biggest, I guess, like mindset shift you had to make? You got made redundant, which some of us have been through this experience, looking at faces here, which is obviously hard. But one of the biggest things here is just the mindset shift, right? When moving to full-time leadership roles to fractional model. So how was that process for you? I'm just curious to hear your take on it and how you overcome some of the struggles like imposter syndrome, for example.
It's not going to be a glamorous answer. It sucks. I did not like that. Who likes to be rejected? I went through the third redundancy, I'm strong, I'm tough, I did it, it's fine. It still sucks, I'm not gonna lie, but I'd done it before. But from the other redundancies, I jumped back really quickly because I lived in big cities. And I got picked up by amazing organizations. So another corporate job, that's fine. This time was very different. The redundancy was over quite quickly. I'm resilient. But yeah, I still don't like not having a fixed salary at the end of the month. I don't like that. I don't like, and I'm not a control freak. You should see the way I live my life. We're here today, and then tomorrow we might move to India. And then I'm happy with that. I love to be outside of my comfort zone, but in work environment, when I felt I had so much to give, but no one wants to take it. And I'm like, look at me, there is a brain here. Oh, I got a lot of frustration. I told you it wasn't going to be glamorous. A lot of frustration. And also, again, this is about my situation. I'm very fortunate. I don't have to work. I could have just gone to the beach and do yoga every morning and play with the kids, which I did. But how many hours can you spend at the beach? How many books can you read? And I already do all of that. So I just knew I was made for more. And that frustration of the market being so slow here, very slow. How did I do it? Meditation, more yoga, speaking to the community. Speaking to Zach. I might keep mentioning Zach. Zach is it's the Gabrielle of APAC or ANZ. He has another community of global community of fractional executives over here, and sharing with him, with him, and not just him, anybody else that I could meet online, but especially in person. And I realized that I wasn't the only one. So the people I met along the way made me even forget the amount of, the monthly salary that I wasn't getting. I am having so much fun. I get to travel, and I always did it, but I get to travel now for work, under my own brand. I get paid. This didn't happen straight away, but now I get paid to fly around Australia or Asia and speak at conferences about account-based marketing, about a couple of topics, the future of work, fractional, again, advocacy. It's so important. We all need to go out there and talk more about how this is the future of work. And it's not even the future. It's so much here already. The community, really. The frustration is still there. It's not that I'm not going to turn a patient person now at my age. It's too late. I'm not patient, and I still get I want more. It's going well, but I can always do better. Come on. Just not being lonely. It can be very lonely, and I'm a social animal. So joining a place like this one I'm speaking to you from, the Parisian Beach Digital Hub, that it's a lot more than just a co-working space. It's full of fractionals. I found out. I had no idea.
Amazing.
Yeah. Oh God, trust me. I'm so blessed. This place is keeping me sane. So sharing with people that have been or are going through the same. Keep communicating with them. That's that.
A lot of stuff I can relate to. But thanks for sharing, Paola. I guess switching gears to money, right? So what pricing models have you found that work best for fractionals? Maybe this transitioned over time, but what has been the right fit for you between maybe retainers, hourly, product based, etc.
I have to say I didn't struggle with that at all. Maybe because I came from agency, and I was very much involved in the commercial side of things. There were just a couple of zeros extra for our clients at the agency. It was a massive global agency, and the clients were Adobe, IBM, Microsoft. So, but apart from that, the structure, the pricing structure, the commercial model works for me still. And I don't want to lecture anybody. I know when I speak to other fractionals, it works very different, each of you guys. But for me, I tend to stay away from hourly rates. I do have one. We all have to have an hourly rate, I think. But that's the last thing I even tell my prospects or clients that exists. That's the really last resource for people that they found me, they really want to work with me. But then they realize, we can't afford you for the whole program. We can't afford you on a, fractional daily, monthly basis. So they utilize my services as what I call an advisor. So they buy 20 hours, for example. I have a US client, they purchase 20 hours a month of my time. And that's when I charge them for the hourly rate. But there's no timesheet. It's based on trust, and I don't look at the clock really. And whatever they need from me, I just deliver. And then if they run out of hours, then they buy more. But it's a recurring 20 hours a month. That is, and they know this really well. This is not where I can help, but this is not where my magic happens. I think I can bring a lot more to the table. I can really move things for them when I'm involved a lot more than just 1 hour here and there. So what really works for me is starting with an initial project that I quote not by hour, not by day, but for the whole package. And that really depends on the brief. And projects for me are, again, mainly account-based marketing strategies, or it could be a B2B strategy program, or it could be an education piece where I go in and train the sales and marketing teams or the agencies about ABM. So I charge them for the program at the beginning, and in Australian dollars, they goes from anything from 12K to 25 plus. It really depends. So they pay that. I charge them up front. Yeah, that's really vital for me. So they pay first. I don't even start checking their website. This is something I'm really strict with myself with this. I don't even want to know what they sell exactly, what they want to try and do, anything about the brand until the money hits my bank account. And they know this. I make this really clear. So I start working on the project, and it will take a few weeks. Sometimes it's a week. Sometimes it's less than a month anyway. I finish that, and that's when then if they need me to stick around, I give them a monthly fee, and I remain on board as a fractional. I don't do anything for less than 1 day a week, again, because I don't think I can really help them. It's too little. And I charge them, 7,000 Australian dollars per month for 1 day a week of my time. And that's exponential. Then you have 2 days a week of my time, it becomes 14K a month. That's that. And it's a monthly recurring fee that they pay at the beginning of the month. Yeah, it's really simple. I don't find any, to be honest, it's the people who cannot afford me, they just know it. Once they see my proposal, if they fall off the chair, it just means it's not a client for me. I don't want to work with clients that cannot afford me anyway. But the ones that are in, I haven't lost any clients since the beginning. So they keep coming. They change the date. Sometimes they go from 2 days to 3 to 2, depending on what they need.
That's amazing. And I guess for somebody who's maybe starting, or maybe it's like 1 year ahead, do you have any recommendations on when specifically is the right time to maybe either change your service offerings or maybe raise your rates? Because that's obviously something that people struggle with. I don't know if you have any takes on that.
Yeah, I take advantage of the January, so the new calendar year, and the new financial year, which here the financial year starts in July in Australia. So I raise my rates twice. So whatever, yeah, that's my excuse. Everything is increasing anyway in price, house pricing, everything, retail. So it's only fair. And it's not that I increase for 25%, but even just 10%, it's a nice to have. And I haven't received any bounce back so far.
That's great. And I guess I wanted to switch gears a little bit to personal branding, because I see you're very, very active on LinkedIn. So just to start and open up the stage, how important do you see personal branding for a fractional executive? I know a lot of people just struggle a lot with hitting that post button. What's been your experience, and how important do you see this whole aspect, or how important has it been for your career in general?
So I want to say something. I've always been extremely big on LinkedIn. Like when LinkedIn started, and I was in Milan, it was 25 years ago, I think, when I started my career. So I believe in my own personal branding outside of fractional. So I was lucky, if you like, in a way that then I ended up without work, and I started a fractional. I already had I can't remember, 7,000 followers. Now I have almost 11,000. Not that I look at the numbers there, but just to say that I wasn't quiet for my whole career, and then suddenly, oh hi, I'm here. So for me, maybe it was easier because I had already a really strong brand presence on LinkedIn, and I'm a networker. It's just something I do in my sleep. Ideally in person, I prefer a lot more that. But if I cannot be there in the room where it happens, and that's me quoting Hamilton again, a little bit obsessed with that musical. But LinkedIn is the closest thing to networking in real life that I can access. So yes, it is extremely important. But I also want to say that some of my fractional friends that are possibly smarter than me and you together, Gabriel, but they just don't want to be visible. They just struggle with social interaction. And I don't think nobody should put any pressure on them. If they don't want to do LinkedIn the way we do it, or other people that are more vocal do it, they will find otherwise. LinkedIn works for me. Again, it's also the place where I know that very well, where my target audience is. But I don't do it for that. I do it because I really enjoy it. And I think you can tell. And then anything that comes out of that is in clients and work. And I get invited to, things like this one or more conferences in person. It's a bonus, but I do it because I feel like I have something to share. I have something to say. I don't have to tick the box. I only share something when I feel like that any line that I can write there can add value to someone. It doesn't mean that I want to please everybody. Actually, I think most people that are reading about my, this morning I posted something about the B2B buyer's journey next year is going to be different. Like most people in my net, the 10,000 people won't care about that. And it's okay, but there might be the post that I share about India books, for example, something I posted about last week, totally different, that resonates with them. So yeah, I do it. I don't want to give advices, but for me, what works is finding my own voice and speak in a forum where I feel safe and that makes me feel comfortable, and just do what you like. Otherwise, I can see some posts, you can just tell it's not even about using AI to do that. That's another story. But they make me cringe. You can tell that person didn't want to do that. They're not even believing in it enough. So, and maybe it's controversial, but if you guys, if there's someone in the audience here that doesn't feel like they want to do it, just don't. Find other ways. Maybe for you is attending a webinar like this and then contacting someone privately. Not everything needs to be shouted on LinkedIn. There's also a lot of crap. I'm sure you would agree with me. There's so much noise. Sorry, I'll use another language. There's so much noise. It's overwhelming. I find my friends that are not as social, as I am, perhaps, that they're really finding it overwhelming. And I don't think it's fair that we put the pressure on people, on fractionals, to absolutely use LinkedIn. Long
Amazing.
answer, but makes sense? Does it make sense?
No, I think it makes a lot of sense, especially the part around like, if it doesn't feel all right to you, there's other ways to do it. But we do know that a lot of the decision makers are in LinkedIn. And I know a lot of people here, or people who will listen to this, maybe want to do it. So do you have maybe like one practical tip? You've been doing LinkedIn for a while. Is there anything that maybe might be tactical and helpful to people who maybe are afraid to just take the leap? They want to do it, just like, they don't know where to start?
Yeah. Start from your niche, I would say. What you know more about. You want to sound confident, and that they didn't, what you're talking about. It doesn't have to be a perfect, polished post. Mine are definitely not. Well, they're not grammar mistakes. You want to have the basics right, but it could be short form. Mix them up. Short form, reposting something from someone that you find a thought leader in that space. Also commenting. I think it's underestimated. It doesn't always have to be, being active on LinkedIn doesn't mean just having your own post out there, but it also means commenting on other people's posts that you think that really there is an association. They're very much aligned with your proposition or your branding. And when you comment, you don't want to write, "Oh, excellent. Oh, that's awesome." You want to add value. You want to add your perspective and point of view. That's another way for you to be seen. You don't see this through my LinkedIn, but I get approached still weekly by people from, again, all over the world, because they saw me commenting on someone's comment I added a little bit of obviously value there, even in a couple of lines. I don't write long chapters, but they saw me connected with that person. So there is a lot of value in commenting, providing that you're commenting on the right post and it resonates with your audience, and it's you have something smart to say. Otherwise, just don't even. And also the DMs, using the private messages that no one will see, but they're there for a reason. And I'm not suggesting to use DMs for cold emails or trying to sell your services. Perhaps I'm taking this for granted, but in the first, for me, 2, 3, maybe even 4 touch points, I don't even mention what I could offer, what I do. It's about building the relationship. You guys are from Latin America. You do this very well. You have a lot of empathy. I'm generalizing here, I know, but you have a lot of empathy and emotional intelligence, and you know how to play the game of negotiation. And I'm building the long-lasting relationship. It's not about doing the hard sell straight away. If they're interested, they can come and check out on your LinkedIn, profile what you have. So yeah, hopefully that is enough. But otherwise, mixing the formats, short form, long form, a little bit of videos if you're comfortable with that, pictures. I also play around with the algorithm. We all know very well that LinkedIn doesn't like when you put a link, so you get very low impressions. Just to throw a curveball to LinkedIn, sometimes I know I'm going to have very low impressions, although the content is amazing, but I put a link in there. Who cares? I want to play by my rules, that's fine. I don't care if I don't get enough impressions on that one. The people that needed to see it, they will find the post.
Amazing. I love it. I guess like one thing I was curious about, since you're a good marketer, obviously, are there any uncommon marketing tactics that have worked for you in getting new clients? I feel like there might be some tactics that you've used that people might not even know that they exist. So I'm curious to hear your take on it.
Some of them, I've used them myself, and some of them, they work very well in account-based marketing, which means, you want to target someone specifically and you do these things. And so it's a mix of them. Gifting, and I'm not suggesting to buy something and just send it to people randomly, but gifting and sending something very personalized to that person. So there is, I'm in the account-based marketing world, and there is this book from the US. It's called Near Bound. I can share the link with you later. It's from this amazing author from the US. And here in Australia, again, they don't even know the concept of near bound. That's a topic for another conversation. So to my prospects, and some of them are already clients, I've sent one of those books with a personalized letter, and that says, open this letter before the book, with a couple of post-it notes inside, because that shows how well I know that person and what chapters will resonate with her or him better, and why. This is how, and it shows how well you know them. And then after they read the book, second letter for you to read after the book. And that's it's a long-term strategy. You don't expect to send this and the next day they call you up like, I actually need you. But it's working already really well. It's starting to give some results, and at the very least, it's the whole point, you are top of mind. So they might not need you now, but they might need me in October. And it happened before that they knew about me, but they only needed my services a few months later, and they didn't even go to other agencies. They only came to me. So gifting, finding that personalized angle. Speaking at conferences. Now, again, I love doing it. I've always done it. I love doing that. So that, for me, it's fun. And again, the byproduct of that is that when I'm on stage, you just get a bigger exposure. And there are people in the audience that came to me after that in person or on LinkedIn later, and they wanted to meet, and they're my clients now. So if you can find that topic that works for you and it's relevant for a few specific conferences within your region, try and do every website of conferences will have a EOI expression of interest form that you can submit to be a speaker. So for me, going to conferences, being visual, being there where all the decision makers are, ideally on stage. That's my goal. If I cannot get on stage for whatever reason, I go there I buy the ticket. So it's an investment. But I always have a list of year on year, a list of conferences that I want to speak at, and I want to attend the next year in whatever country I want to get into, and then well in advance I make sure to apply for those. And then if I see that I don't get in, and then I buy the tickets. So yeah, being conferences. This is nothing groundbreaking, but it works really well. For me, the biggest ROI came from this, speaking at conferences in 2 years. Other tactics. Well, LinkedIn works really well for me. As in what I post when they see me. So being a guest in a lot of webinars, that's helped me a lot. Again, it started really spontaneously. I don't want to host a podcast, but I do really like being invited to those podcasts and webinars, and what they give you after that as well. If they give you always a lot of different snippets that you can up the content, and like I ask maximum 1 minute, and then they share them with me, and that's content, guys. I'm still repurposing from months ago. So yeah, it's almost free. That's free. It's only your time. So the 1 hour that you're spending in the podcast, but it's a gift that keeps on giving. So if you can find your voice and propose yourself as a guest, get invited for a podcast, live webinars, whatever that is, jump on them. Obviously, I wouldn't say yes to all of them. I get invited all the time, but I'm really selective. I'm always very clear on, does it fit my strategy? What is the why behind it? Is this gonna serve me well? I don't just do it because I like talking. It's not the point. But yeah, you get a lot of marketing material for your content, for your LinkedIn from that.
I agree. No, and just to quick recap, give you value first, establish trust. You're investing in these kind of spaces, finding spaces where you can talk to a lot of people. I think like those are very, very tactical points that people can take away. I have a lot of more questions, but we're nearing the end, Paola. So I just wanted to wrap with a couple of quick questions, if that's okay with you. Actually, the first one was around what's your favorite book. So I don't know if this one you mentioned, is that the book you
Oh no, I wouldn't say
most?
it's my favorite. Oh my God,
Okay,
it's my favorite
okay.
book. Work. Oh my God, when someone asks me, it's a great book, but it's work for me. When someone asks me, "What's your favorite book?" My mind goes to novels.
Okay.
So I have but a Near Bound is great if you guys want to. It's interesting in the marketing space. It's what I would read right now in account-based marketing. And Near Bound is the next. It's the next big thing in account-based marketing, which is already happening in the US, less in other countries. So the sooner you get your hands on what that concept is about, the sooner you're going to have an advantage on your competition. Or even with your clients, and you'll look really cool because you can teach them something new. They also have a podcast. I can share links with you later, Gabriel, and you can share them with the community.
Please do.
My favorite book is called Cecità in Italian, but it's blindness in English. It's from a Portuguese author that I adore. He died a few years ago, unfortunately. It's José Saramago. Don't know if you know about him. Yeah, brilliant. It's amazing. No one knows about him here. Like yesterday, I was at a dinner and we had cards to start a conversation. And the question I got was, "What's your favorite book?" And they were all lovely, beautiful Australian people around the table. When I said José Saramago, they didn't even know it was a name. That's not big over here. But I love him. So blindness.
I'll write it down. Perfect. Thank you for that. I guess the second one would be, what's one habit that has made you successful, or the one that you think has pushed your career forward the most?
I'm not a woman of habits. I am so inconsistent. I don't like commitment. I don't have habit. I do every day in my life looks very different. But the one skill thing that I have, I don't know how to call it. It's curiosity. Like even if I'm really happy, and in my life and professionally, even if I have it all, and I do know I'm doing really well, and if I'm really happy and I live in the best place, and just work is going really well, I'm just so curious. I have itchy feet. I just want to know, but what's around the corner? Like even just take it now. I'm here, and people think we are crazy that we want to leave this place. But I'm like, what is it like to live in New Delhi? I don't know if you lived in New Delhi. What is it like to live in Doha or Nairobi? I'm just thirsty for more adventure. So the curiosity, and it translates in my career as well. Every step that I've taken in my career so far, it's been driven by curiosity and always wanting to learn more. I never know I know it all. I think I'm only just starting.
I love it. I love it. It's a personality trait, but it can count as a habit too. And I guess just to wrap, what's the most rewarding part of being a fractional executive for you? Maybe that's something people can take nuggets from. The one thing.
The one thing is the people I met along the way. It's not, and the money's been good, but it's not my top priority at all. It's not what I value in life. So the people I'm meeting, the connections I'm making, because it can be very lonely. It is very lonely to be a fractional. We are a lot more, we're a lot stronger together, and we all really want to be together next to each other physically or virtually, to share things and to do big things together. I'm starting a new podcast again. It's not technically mine because I can't sit still for too long, but the idea came from me. But I'm starting a new podcast with another fractional here on the Sunshine Coast, and I wouldn't have had the time to do it. But so yeah, look, the people and the opportunities that I'm having. I teach at 2 universities here in Australia. I went in the corporate job, 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, which, by the way, I loved. I won't forever say that. I had a great experiences. I didn't even have time to think, oh, maybe I can teach a university. Now they called me, 2 universities, the best ones here in Australia, and I could say yes. So yeah, the people and the opportunity, the opportunities that this is bringing my way.
And flexibility, right? No, that's amazing. Paola, thanks so much for the time and for your insights. Where can people find you and connect with you? Is there any spot away from LinkedIn, which I know you're super fond of?
Oh yeah, well, LinkedIn is the first place. Then from there we can move on to WhatsApp. I know you guys. I have a feeling in Mexico and Latin America you use a lot WhatsApp, emails, but it's boring. So LinkedIn, WhatsApp, and yeah, my website is just another way for you to see what I do. But it's just there for authority. Yeah, LinkedIn and then WhatsApp. I can share my mobile number with you if you don't have it.
Amazing. Cool.